2017, we made 180,000 loss. The irony is we were actually doing some really great work with companies and helping them do well, but we weren't doing very well at all. What many founders would do at that point, of course, is jump in and get involved and try and rectify whatever had been going wrong. I didn't. I decided that I would take no decision and would leave the decision, delegate the decisions to other people. We do a lot of work with people on what it is that they're best at. We don't have individual job descriptions. We have some very clear principles which underlie the business and which I believe aren't just tacked on the wall, but actually are lived by people. They are believe the best, delight the customer, celebrate mistakes, make a difference in the world. The key point of these is that when I see somebody who maybe not doing quite what they should be, I don't need to tell them. I can just ask them, how does this reflect delighting the customer or believing the best of people? What you need to get the business to work is for a particular item called trainer utilization to work. So our trainers know that their job is to deliver fabulous training and delight the customer and get great feedback. What they often don't know is that at the same time, they need to be getting the metrics right. One thing I did do when I stepped back was I said, one thing I want every trainer to do at the end of each month is to measure their trainer utilization. So I think that's given a fairly clear intent. I didn't set any targets. I didn't tell anybody what they should be. All I did was ask them to measure at the end of each month what their trainer utilization was. And of course, once you measure it, you try and get it in the right direction. And that alone added £100,000 to our profit. That's where I was before I decided to make no decisions, David, and that's afterwards. So I owe you a great debt of thanks, because that was the direct effect of stepping back from the business and enabling people to step up and make decisions. Of course, then the pandemic happened. Britain went into lockdown at the end of March, and I suddenly changed my behavior. I had forgotten everything I believed in, my productivity tools, my delegating authority, all of that. And for 2 weeks, I was running around frantically, telling people what to do, and it didn't work. After that 2 weeks, I went back to the old ways, back to giving clear intent, but leave it clear values, but leaving it to people to decide how to implement those. And as a result of that, we made a 30 grand loss in May, a 10 grand loss in June, and by July we were profitable. So based on the ladders of leadership, we don't really get people to say, I intend to. We just get them to do it, which is, I think, level 6, or I'm not quite sure the difference between level 6 and level 7 I've done and I've been doing. Our concept of pre-approval is that you set the clear guidelines and then you leave people to get on with it. So one example some years ago was in our cafe, we had a 19-year-old in charge. He wanted to improve the cafe. What we didn't do was say, show us a plan. We agreed a budget with her and we checked she understood the look and feel of the company. And then we left her to it. I saw it for the first time when she'd done it. Quick note in the chat, how do you think she felt 3 months into her first job, 19 years old, walking into the cafe that she had created? Quick note in the chat, how do you think she felt walking into that cafe? Scared, said somebody. I'm struck by one thing in this conversation. That example I gave of the 19-year-old and the cafe, I give that often, and I ask people put in chat, and the overwhelming response people say is pride, that she will have a sense of pride.
Yeah.
This is the only group I've ever come to where people have said scared, overwhelmed, things like that. Every other group I've been to have said she will have real pride in what she's done. She felt really proud. She still remembers it 10 years on.
I'll tell you, that's a lot with my relationship with David as well. And it's just the pride in being able to do the job that I was trained to do and to be valued and trusted.
I absolutely agree. On the ladders of leadership, intent is only level 5. And I always say that level 5 is where it should be rather than at level 6 or 7.
Yeah, well, actually, if you think about it, we could sometimes use the analogy of literally a ladder. If you're standing on a ladder, where's the safest place to be? It's not at the top. That's inherent. So actually, rung number 5, 2 below the top, is just about your optimum point in which you can see or reach what you need to get without feeling unsafe.
Interesting. Okay, because I'd been assuming the ladder you went to the top, but that's interesting feedback, Peter.